it's going to happen. I know that part of being who we are and using our ability and our mentality is that challenges are going to come. And are we going to stop ourselves, or are we going to continue when the challenges come? Are we going to um, make it easier for others that are a part of our life and a part of our journey? Sitting here folding clothes, reminded of the simplicity of folding clothes, and cleaning the mind, um, you know, is amazing when you put a little bit of time and a little bit of effort into it. I think that we sometimes forget that sometimes making other people's lives easier is the best part about this journey. I know that every day that I have on this planet is a blessing, and I'm sitting here folding clothes, being reminded that what I'm doing right here is important. What I'm putting that effort in towards does more than just for oneself. It's listened to a lot of Eric Thomas, and uh, one of my favorite Eric Thomas quotes is, "Doing dishes never looked more sexy." You know, and it reminds me that if you really want, you know, to have that kind of a investment, then it takes a lot more than just what's on the external success. It takes the internal success to find that place and to get to that point of ability. It's a quite a mentality that not a lot of people are willing to put their minds to. That everything matters. They sometimes throw everything else aside and focus on one thing. And it's important that your your journey is with balance and with purpose. And so sitting here reminds me that is what's important. So um, I think a lot of the times that we go through challenges, we forget that we can come out on the other side. It's like, what does it mean to be you? What does it mean to face the challenge that you're facing on a daily basis? I'm grateful for, hello, blessings. I'm finding to enjoy organizing clothes right here. I got my little kitty with me. Um, Opening up an open chat for people to open and talk about, challenges and things that they're going through. And so, it's kind of cool that I have the ability to get on here. And his name is Finn. A very sweet cat. Oh. Finn, move. Come here, buddy. Go over there. Okay. Yeah. I like my cat too. Like, I was listening to this thing Eric Thomas was talking about, and it was, um, his wife was there, and he was wondering, because they were having challenges between them. He was wondering, so he started figuring out, okay, if I start doing the dishes, things will change. And laundry is another one of those things where if you start to really take that point and put it into place, you're gonna you're gonna, I love you, buddy. You're gonna find a joy in it. You know, later tonight I gotta go do work on my transportation company uh, and put that time in. But you know, it's kind of cool when uh, you have the ability to do things like laundry. You know, I remember at a certain point in life I was homeless and I had to wash my clothes by hand. And here I am with a washer and dryer. In other countries, they don't even have those things, you know. So it's actually a joy to sit here and do laundry. It's a joy to have that kind of a challenge, you know. Not a lot of people willing to get down and then they wonder why things happen. You know, they wonder why their companions get frustrated. But, you know, we all go through that, right? We all go through a time when you know our minds are strong and a time when our minds are broken. And you know, I'm sitting here in a little bit of pain inside because about 4 days ago I was in a car accident where a person rear-ended me, and this is giving me the peace. This is giving me the mindset that I need um, to continue. You know, and I was rear-ended extremely hard. You know, but we can never give up. We can never let what we're going through stop us, friends. And you will have challenges that will come your way, and you can choose to face off against those challenges with a mentality that is going to hold you back, or one that's gonna lift you up. You know, a lot of times the things that we fail to continue, they remind you the reason why everything that you're doing on a daily is worth it. You know, and one of those places is a service of gratitude. Um, and there's a lot of times in relationships that a lot of us we lack that, right? So we lack the ability to serve others. You know, a lot of us just want it all handed to us. But when you get after it, you know, it's coming down to if you can do it, when do we put it in a place where we're helping other people too? You know, when is what we learn and how we grow? When does that become a part of the reason why we're doing things? You know, here I am sitting with laundry, and I'm finding the joy in doing laundry. See, that's the key. Key isn't success isn't just what's on the external. It's the things that you feel inside. It's the places that you go. It's the story that you live. And I've had a lot of challenges that have come up and things that have asked, is this truly what you want? Is that what you want to become? And every day those challenges they're not going to stop your joy, you know. You can achieve your dreams. You can truly achieve and your mentality, but you got to put it out there. You got to believe in yourself that what you're doing on a daily basis is worth it. You know, like I was saying, I'm not sitting here without pain, but the ability to sit here and enjoy folding clothes and putting my mind to a place to keep it active, you know, and it gives a reason. And you know, they a lot of people would there's two types of people in the world. There's people in the world who they face a challenge and then they give up. And then there's a second group of people in this world that the challenge it becomes the reason. And sometimes we forget um, that the reasons why we are here is to learn from those lessons and to overcome them and to not have fear. You know, it's not every day that you get to experience those challenges. So if you can find the joy in those challenges, um, then they're not there to stop you. They're there actually to teach you. And the one of the biggest teachers that I've come in contact with in this life is pain. You know, what pain has taught me is to sometimes sit back and observe, to sit back and recognize that you can learn from that. You can hear and you can grow from the things that we go through. And so some of those things that we go through on a daily um, are things that a lot of people would be stopped by. But when we are not stopped by those things, then those things no longer have a hurdle over you. And a lot of the times, that's when people quit. That's when people give up. So if you're recognizing that you're going through those kind of challenges, but yet you find a way to enjoy your journey, then what you're facing off against is learning. And if you find a joy in learning, if you find the joy in your challenges, then you start to have a purpose and you start to have a reason to continue and a reason to keep going. And you know, it's amazing because what I've been recognizing lately is that failure and success are one and the same. That when you are actually failing, that's a sign that you're succeeding. And how can you fail and succeed at the same time? So let's go ahead and observe that for a second. What is a failure? It's a lesson. What is a success? It's a lesson. So both failure and success, they teach stories. And the one that's willing to continue through the failure ultimately becomes the one that's successful, right? Because if you don't give up, eventually you'll succeed. And that would mean that a part of ourselves should be pushing every day for failure, should be pushing every single day for it to find the growth inside of ourselves. And that would answer the question, that is failure and success the same? Absolutely. They're both learning lessons. They're both part of who you are, and they're both part of the challenges that you face off against on a daily basis. So, are we learning from those challenges would be the question. Are we allowing ourselves to grow through them and not to be held by fear of failure? And there's a lot of people out there that are afraid to fail. There's a lot more out there that are afraid to fail than willing to try and succeed. And that right there is a sign inside to myself that it's worth it. You know, that failure and success are one and the same. You know, even being injured, I'm still trying. I'm still not giving up, you know. And a lot of us would. A lot of people would say, why after 3 days of being in a car accident would you get up and fold clothes? My answer is, why not? Why not be productive, friends? Why not get yourself in the mindset where you are succeeding? Why not uh, continue to grow? Continue to face off against challenges. You know, I have learned that we enable or disable our minds, friends. That we are the ones that have that ability inside of ourselves to uh, push ourselves to that point. But we are also the ones that have the ability to sit down and give up. And sometimes we're going to feel that way. Sometimes we're going to feel like giving up is the best option. But remember one thing, all lessons lead back to learning. They all lead back to the reason why something happens in your life. You know, and I did 10 years of meditation, and in the 10 years of meditation, I learned to learn. I learned that challenges are not our enemy. They're actually our friends. And when one's challenges come, also comes the ability to overcome it. Also comes the ability to become something greater than what you're facing off against. So, how do we find that? How do we find a space where we can go inside and find peace? And one of the tools that I've used for many years is meditation. You know, and the meditation that I've done for many years is open to everybody. It's open to you, it's open to everyone else around you, and you just have to be open to studying yourself. You have to be open to the growth that can come from within and the ability to learn from you. When we're failing, or things aren't working in our favor, or challenges come up, we also have the ability to grow and grow through them. And the most amazing part about it isn't that we fail. It's that we can get out on the other side. You know, it's well,